Good afternoon, folks. A slightly different video yet again. I've been tidying up. I've got the place tidied up after all the work with the diesel heater, and we've been doing a wee bit of amateur radio today. Now, this video again is about the diesel heater. I have heard, whether this is true or not, that these are either banned or likely to be banned, and the reason being is because of the safety aspect. Now, I can understand why the government may have decided to do this, and it's down to people how they're installing them, and people that maybe do not understand the dangers and diving in, doing it, and maybe not doing it properly. Now, it's important to remember that the exhaust gases from these contain carbon monoxide. Now, carbon monoxide will gradually make you get sleepy. You'll get unaware of what you're doing, you'll pass out. And if you continue to inhale this carbon monoxide, it'll kill you. You know, there's many people, unfortunately I have to use this, that have put pipes inside from their exhausts on their cars into the window to commit suicide. Now, I don't want anybody to do this and you know, land up in a situation where they could be gravely ill, or they actually could inadvertently kill themselves. Now, it's important that you do not run these heaters indoors with the exhaust fumes getting into your living area or your workspace. You cannot run these things by a door open and expect all the fumes to go outside. That is not the case. That will not happen. They will inevitably blow back in to your working space or your living quarters, whatever it may be, or your van. And I actually see quite a number of these heaters fitted with the exhaust pipe just sticking down underneath camper vans. That, as far as I'm concerned, isn't safe. Depending on where the wind is blowing, depending on how your airflow ventilation in your van operates, where your outlets are, you could get fumes coming in, and if you've got this on at night, you might not be there in the morning. So you have to be aware of how this is done. I'm no expert, but I've got common sense, and I have to say that it's most important to get this done right. Now, I explained on my previous videos that this is mounted indoors. The air intake is coming in for the burner from outside, and the exhaust is going through a plated a plate on the wall, which has got a 90mm hole, a separate 90mm diameter tube which goes between my inner and outer cavity, and the actual pipe that runs through this is dressed in a heat wrap, and in that tube. So there is less likelihood. That gets slightly warm, that plate, and the one on the outside doesn't even get warm at all. So I have to say that as far as I'm concerned, I'm quite happy. At the moment, the heater is running on automatic. It's now working away on number 1. The temperature in here is a nice warm 22.4 degrees. So it's nice and toasty in here. Fuel consumption's brilliant. I have no complaints. Now, the exhaust I have not properly finished. I want to do some routing, and I want to do it correctly as well. But I have show you here what I've got. This is the intake. It's been raining for days. I haven't had a chance to properly do this, but it'll get done. I have a long length of exhaust. I'm using these pieces here just to weight it down and to keep it straight. Now, you'll see, maybe you won't see, yeah, you'll see the steam coming. That's condensation. It's not smoke, it's because it's quite cold out here, and for every litre of fuel you burn, you produce a litre of water. So that is the condensation that builds up in the pipe. And of course, as the pipe comes down, it gets cooler and cooler and cooler. This is the silencer. You know what I mean? That's warm. That's about it's only about 40 degrees. It's very cool. This is just maybe 30 degrees in this front end. There's a bit of fiberglass stuff, which is just slightly warm, only slightly warm. Back here it's warmer. You know, this piece is warmer than that end. You know, so it's cooling all the way, all the time it goes down that pipe. I could not keep my hand on that. I have to say, I couldn't. This is another plate, just a copper plate that will be cleaned up, painted, etc, etc. But it's not even worn. Look at how long. I mean, it's not burning my fingers at all. So the reason why I've extended this is to keep it as far away from the shed door as possible, right? Now if the wind has decided to blow this way, it could come in. So this is the point I'm trying to make to people, that the wind is unpredictable. You've got to have a long enough length of exhaust so that that carbon monoxide does not blow back into your working area, or even into your house if you've got one installed in the house. So I do believe this is the reason why the government is either banned or banning them. And I've noticed on eBay, there's none. They've disappeared. A week ago, 10 days ago, I was flooded with them, but they've gone. So there must have been some legislation passed that you cannot sell them. Amazon still got them. And I have to say I ordered another. Not that I need it, but I decided to order another just in case for any reason this failed. It's working out much cheaper for me to have this heater running on kerosene, which it does. I put a little bit of a two-stroke oil in it. I don't think I really need to, because the type of pump theoretically shouldn't seize, right? But I don't want to take that chance, so a little tiny bit of a what do you call it, a two-stroke oil in it, mineral type, round about 1%. That's about all that's in it. It's very, very small a dosing. So it's been going fine. The fuel consumption is excellent. It's going to work out for me about 1/10 of what it cost me to run a mixture of electric and gas in here, which I had before. So that's the main reason why I've gone that way. I do spend a fair bit of time out here when I'm on my amateur radio, or if I've got some other things to do. So I mean, I do spend quite a lot here, and my wife is a night shift worker, so for me to run around in the house mucking about, making a noise, it's not really very fair for a night shift worker. So I have to say that I do spend a lot of time out here. I've got my kettle and I can make myself a cuppa, make myself something to eat, bring it out, etc. But I do try to be reasonable. But that's beside the point. I'm only trying to say, guys, that please, please, please be careful what you do with these things, right? Do the job properly. And incidentally, there's nothing wrong with having it inside, like I have, so long as the air intake for the burner and the exhaust is taken from outside. You can take the air intake inside if you wish, but you're actually removing some of the heat that's generated and it's going outside. And plus the fact, hot air is less dense and you'll not get such a good burn. You want to pull in nice cool air if you can from outside. Obviously you're using a heater because it's cold outside, so pull the cold air in from outside, you'll get a better burn and there's less chances of it sooting up. So that's the reason why I suggest to do that. Ideally you don't want a great big long exhaust, but what you can do is the standard exhaust you could sleeve into a much larger diameter pipe, maybe stainless steel, alloy or whatever. By the time it's got down that length, it's not going to melt the alloy, it's cool enough. So a longer pipe, but a larger diameter will cause less restrictions on the exhaust system, and it'll pump any possibility of carbon monoxide away from your door. But bear in mind, if you're in a built up area, be careful what you're doing, and make sure you take into mind that it could affect neighbours, it could affect somebody else, and basically if your equipment produces carbon monoxide and your neighbour gets it and something happens to your neighbour, you're the one that will end up in prison. So beware of all the downfalls of doing this, but do it right and you'll not have a problem. I guarantee you won't, because these are great wee things. They're cheap to buy, they produce a lovely amount of heat, they'll keep you warm and they'll save you money. But if you land up with a great big fine, or land up in prison, it's not worth doing it. So do it right. That's all I can say. That's my advice. Take care everyone, look after yourself and have a nice Christmas. Bye for now.